Hey guys, this is Heiko here. I'm joined with my buddy Evan.
Hey Earthlings.
So this is going to be a bit of a different episode, a special one that we decided to release now. This is part of 10 episodes that we had recorded last year as practice episodes before we officially launched the Curiousaholic podcast. And we thought, it'd be a great time to release this episode.
Yeah, so initially our podcast used to be actually called the Wing It Podcast. And essentially we record, like Heiko mentioned, we recorded 10 practice episodes, and one of those was called the Cultural Monoliths episode. So I just want to give you guys a little context, since this actually happened a year ago. So basically, maybe 13, 14 months ago, there were monoliths that were appearing across the world, and people didn't really know why they were appearing. So a lot of it, it caused a lot of people to react online, and people were super curious about these monoliths, kind of like we were. Mm-hmm. And so I thought it was a great idea to bring that as a topic, and also we thought that it would be a great idea to release it hand in hand with the Metaverse episode that we just previously released, because we think that cultural monoliths kind of, grab people's attentions, kind of like the Metaverse does, and how new technologies grab people's attention. So we, and it kind of gathers people around, and people just, mindlessly go towards new technologies that come out. So we thought it was a good idea to release it with this one, and let us know what you guys think in the comments, and it should be a good one.
Yep. So hope you guys enjoy, and don't mind the name, the Wing It Podcast. We are the Curiousaholic now. So leave a comment, subscribe, do all that, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Peace, guys.
Peace.
Hello, Earthlings. My name is Evan, and thanks for tuning in to the Wing It Podcast. My good friend Heiko here is playing us some creepy music today.
Hello, people.
So just to give you guys a little background on how the podcast works, before we get into today's topic. So basically, the Wing It Podcast, how it works is that only one of us actually knows the topic that we're going to be discussing the day of the discussion. And during the discussion, I'm going to be revealing the topic to the other person, which is Heiko in this case. So I'm the one that selected a topic today, and we're going to be getting into it, a creepier topic for this one.
I'm excited, yeah.
So I hope you're able to wing it and do the best you can, because it's going to be an interesting one.
I'm ready for it, man.
So for this one, I prepared us some tinfoil hats.
Just to let people know, I did get a little teaser of the, type of subject that we're gonna get.
So these are,
and that's why, as you can see, for the people watching us, and we've got our tinfoil hats on
to protect our brains from the
intergalactical demons.
Yeah. So just a disclaimer before we get into this: we're not any type of expert or any crazy conspiracy theorists or something. We're just two guys talking about some creepy topics, and
we actually went ahead and made tinfoil hats.
we made some tinfoil hats just for the occasion.
Yeah.
So
I'm ready.
Yeah. So you ready to find out what the topic is?
Yes, I'm ready, man.
Okay. So actually, this time, to announce what the topic is, I want to play a little game with you.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So the name of the game is Guess That Image or Object, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I'm going to be putting up an object on the screen right now, and you're going to have to tell me if you've ever seen anything that looks like this right here. Have you ever seen anything?
Oh my
that
God!
Looks like this?
No! Oh jeez.
Okay, so clearly you've seen this thing before.
Yes, I've seen it almost on the daily.
Yeah,
and I've had enough of it.
Well, you can have a full-on discussion about it.
Oh no!
Okay,
thought I was done with this.
Okay, you've seen it. You've seen it before, right?
Yes, I have.
But you know what it's called?
Okay, should we explain to people what we're seeing? Okay, well, it's the recent news of those monoliths.
Yes. Okay. You know what it is.
Yes,
Good.
I know.
So it's gonna be easy to talk about. All right.
Okay.
So yeah, I told you it was gonna be regarding some recent events.
Some recent events. I
But
see. Yeah.
okay, so you're probably thinking it's gonna be we're gonna be talking about like extraterrestrial like sightings or like paranormal activity or something. But it's kind of not the direction I want to bring this podcast because like when I was thinking about the idea behind it, I was like, oh, that monolith thing is like, it was appealing to me. But then I was like, isn't it a little cliche to just talk about aliens all the time?
Yeah.
So I was thinking that we could kind of have like a different spin to it. I want to look at more like the meaning of them. Like, what do they represent? Like, what do they? Yeah. So why are they there? Like, why did they appear out of nowhere? And not necessarily from like an alien perspective. Like, well, as we go along,
Like
you'll kind of catch my drift on where we're going with this.
Like a cultural thing. Why
Yes.
are we starting to see these sort of things?
Yes.
Is it art? Is it representing
Yes,
something?
That's exactly the direction I want to take it. So it's good that you have a bit of insight on what you're looking at.
I've seen news every week. There's like a new one that pops up, somewhere around the globe.
So just for people that aren't actually aware of this monolith here, well, the one that we're looking at is actually the first one, I believe, that appeared in Utah, in Moab. So Moab is like a really remote area of Utah where there's basically like canyons and there's like basically it's just like nature. There's not much there, right? So they appeared basically out of nowhere. Absolutely no one has any idea how they got there. And some of them disappeared at like these locations and reappeared at another one. So the first one I think disappeared or they removed it, and as soon as they removed it, another one appeared like in California, and then that one was removed as well, and then another one appeared in the UK. So there's multiple sightings of a real, and every single time they reappear, it has exactly this form. It's like a metallic looking object, and it's like an upright prism kind of. And so that's basically the direction I want to bring it. Were you expecting that?
I was not expecting, honestly. Like, I was so done with this. I was like, if ever I see another freaking news article about these stupid monoliths of people are like, oh, is it aliens? Oh, is it extraterrestrials, communicating? No, it's just people that put these stuff up. I know it.
I agree, but I want to think about why they put them there. Honestly, I'm sure. I feel like I want to
go deeper into this.
I feel like I figured something out here. Honestly,
have you figured?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Disclaimer again: we're no professionals, and we're not any conspiracy theorists. We're just two people putting on tinfoil hats for fun and just talking about
just
random
like
topics.
Being a little esoteric, with the subject.
Okay. So kind of like the first point I want to bring on here. Well, we spoke about already, like the preface on why I chose this topic. Obviously, it was in modern like news that like people were seeing these monoliths and whatnot. But so the first thing I want to bring up is more like explaining what these monoliths are from a historical standpoint.
Okay.
So like you did mention before that monoliths are like there is a culture associated towards them, but did you know that they were used in like in ancient civilizations and stuff like that?
I would imagine so. Yeah. I mean, I guess they have like this sort of symbolic nature to them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So by definition, what a monolith is, it's like a very large upright object that's made of one single piece of stone. So it's not like a compound, like it's not like multiple parts that make up like this tall object. It's actually one piece of stone or a piece of metal in this case. Okay. So it's one extruded piece of metal and it's just upright, and sometimes it's like 8 feet tall. It could be like pretty tall, and I'm not sure how tall that one was, but yeah, they're pretty tall, and they're made of one material. So I mentioned that they're very present in on a historical standpoint, and a lot of ancient civilizations use them. So, for example, there was the Egyptians, the Romans, the Greeks, and I kind of looked into how the Egyptians like interpreted these, because obviously Egyptian cultures are really old, like culture.
They are, yeah.
Yeah, and I figured that I don't know. They probably had like a pretty good reasoning to use these things, or I wanted to know what they were interested in.
I mean,
for
they
some
build
reason.
the pyramids, so
Right. Yeah. So they did have a lot of culture beliefs in that, and yeah, I'm gonna talk about what I found. So actually, their representation of the monolith was an obelisk. So you've probably heard that term before.
An obelisk.
Yeah,
obelisk.
Yeah, it's
Not really, actually.
okay. Well, it's basically that. It's a monolith. It's like it's an upright,
Tall structure.
monument that they attributed cultural beliefs like towards. So each one of their obelisks represented something. So from what I read, some Egyptians basically attributed their obelisk to like the primordial mound on which the god Adam created the world. So a mound is a rock, okay, which is basically what a monolith is, right? I said it's an upright piece of rock.
Okay.
So what they're imagining is the obelisk is like the piece of land or rock that the god Adam was standing on and looking down while he was creating the world. That's what it represented for them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, I wasn't
history.
either until I started reading about it.
Look at that. You learn
So
as well.
yeah, you learn new things every day, right?
Sure.
So yeah, so that's what but I think that's, I guess, some Egyptians, and maybe not all of them believe that, but some of them attributed those obelisks to that belief. Also, I read that the obelisk represented duality, so life and death. So the mortality, but of the pharaoh. You know how like Egyptians, like their society was basically governed by the pharaoh, and the pharaoh was even like looked as like a godly figure almost. Like he was almighty, he was like super powerful, even though he was human. They
They were like
attribute
divine in some way.
yeah.
Yeah.
So even though he was mortal, they almost considered him immortal.
Yeah,
So
true.
that's what the obelisk actually represented for them, was the mortality and immortality of the pharaoh.
Okay.
So you know how like an obelisk could probably fall and break, right?
Yeah, I could. Yeah.
But almost like the pharaoh, he could die, but he lives on forever. That's
Trying
kind
to
of
immortalize,
yeah.
like a symbol to immortalize something and have it like stand the test of time.
Yes.
No
yeah.
pun intended. Stand the test of time.
Oh yeah, okay. That was pretty good.
That's good.
Yeah, it took me a while to catch on to that one. Yeah, so that's what they kind of looked at. They saw it as like duality, basically, life, death, immortality. Yeah,
Okay.
like immortalizing the pharaoh. And also more like on a practical level, the obelisks actually were used to tell time. You've probably heard this before. So basically, since it's an upright structure, the sun would cast like its light.
Yeah, like a clock. Like it
Yes,
would like
exactly.
go around
And-
with the shadow.
Yeah, exactly. So that's
Okay.
what it was used for.
Oh,
This is
interesting.
probably where you've seen obelisk before. It's actually, that's what it was for.
Okay.
So the light would shine down on the obelisk and it would point into a certain direction and tell what time of day. And that also was a cultural like significance where the sun god would be like above them and like looking down on them. So that was kind of like their way of, you know, appreciating the sun god, for example.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I knew about that clock ancient way
Right.
of like telling time, but okay, I didn't know it was related to.
Yeah,
to
it's
this.
related to this.
It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm glad that you're learning about this because I was learning about it too. Yeah. So now we looked at what these monoliths are on like more of a historical standpoint.
Okay.
Obviously, we could have looked at like what the Greeks believed, the Romans, like we could have looked at probably every civilization had like a different interpretation of what they were, but that's how the Egyptians looked at it. But yeah, so now I like as I was getting into this, I was thinking like, what about like science fiction and stuff like that? What did did it ever show up in a movie? Like it had to have shown up somewhere.
Well, I know one movie.
Okay, we're thinking which one?
I haven't seen the whole movie, but I know that scene in particular.
Okay, perfect.
2001: A Space Odyssey.
That's exactly the scene I'm gonna show you. Okay, so yes, the monoliths that appeared on like in Utah were actually identical to the ones in the movie, in shape, form,
Wasn't it black in the movie?
Yeah, I know, but like the dimensions of it and like the proportions,
Okay.
they were aiming to make it look exactly like that.
Like it was from the
Yes.
movie, yeah.
So,
'Cause
yeah.
it's kind of iconic, that
Yeah,
scene.
it's iconic. Okay, yeah. So you know the scene, but we're gonna look at it just again because it's gonna bring up more ideas.
Oh, definitely, I'm down for
Okay.
it. Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
So here, prepared it right here. Let's open the link up.
Sure.
All right. So we could give our thought. We could pause it if you want as we go along.
Okay. Just to let people know, we are currently watching that scene from the Space Odyssey.
So yeah, this I'm guessing is like early man, is like primitive species of humans basically.
Not, I guess even before Neanderthals.
Neanderthals, yeah. Yeah, this is like a really primitive species
version
that they were
of
trying
humans.
to represent. So yeah, they wake up and they're like, "Oh, what is this thing?" And they kind of gather around.
Yeah,
This
okay, now
black
it
monument.
does exactly look like the actual
Yes,
monoliths
that's
that appeared.
exactly what it looks like.
Yeah.
So yeah. So this is from 2001: A Space Odyssey. This was a movie made in the 60s.
Watching this scene again, this is kind of what's happening right now with our current, like, you know, society right now. Everybody's like, oh my god, these monoliths, what do they mean?
Yeah,
What's
this
happening?
is what I want to get.
That's what I want- yeah,
This is the
okay.
direction I'm bringing us. So you're starting to catch on. I'm glad.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, what you could see is they're gathering around the monolith, and then one of them, like, kind of like approaches it, and he's like curious. He's gonna go like touch it and see what it's about. So let's let him do that.
They're like curious as to
They're
what
like
this...
curious, touching it, like, oh, what is this thing?
Oh.
See, he's like unsure, and then he retreats, but he's like, oh, wait a second. Then he goes back. And there's like this dramatic music in the background.
music's so, yeah, dramatic. But why does that monolith look kind of out of place from the scene?
Yeah, because it was made in the 60s.
Looks like CG or something, or I don't know.
It looks like it's just.
It looks
put
like
in- it looks CGI or something.
Yeah.
So now, once they get comfortable, they're like, "Oh wow, this is like a divine thing," and they all like gather around the monolith, but they don't know what it is.
Yeah.
They're just like, "Oh, this is. It looks like I need to submit to this thing," and they're all gathering around, and they're all starting to worship it. So this is a.
It's crazy, but it's kind of very
Yes.
symbolic in nature
Yes.
and can translate to us humans.
Yeah.
Really.
This scene is really powerful, I
It
think.
really is. That's why it's really iconic,
Yeah.
and that's why this is the scene I've seen the most, even though I
Right.
haven't seen the movie. Wow.
So yeah, they all end up submitting. And look at this. This is another
This
part
scene right here.
right here. So okay, tell me what you think about that right there.
Oh yeah. So
What did you notice at the end?
So yeah, like the last shot, it was like the camera that was from below the monolith, looking up, and you see like the sun shining, and there's the shadow that's cast.
Yeah, but did you notice also there was the moon? So remember how I said the Egyptians believed in duality, and sun and moon is like light and dark. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah, I saw like in the
So,
background there was
yeah,
also the moon.
There was the
Okay.
sun, and then right like adjacent to it, there was the moon. So
yeah, I didn't think much of that. Okay.
yeah, but it took me a while to like catch on. So yeah,
But they're trying to represent that dual.
yeah, that's exactly what I think they're trying to represent. They're trying to represent duality, like good, evil, like casting a shadow from like the sun. Like I'm sure that all ties into like history and stuff.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure the person that made this movie,
Yeah.
like the whole team and stuff, they did their research on like a historical standpoint. What it
Oh yeah, I
represents.
don't think they came up with this scene random. No.
Yeah, no, but I'm 100% sure the sun and the moon represents duality, because that's actually what usually represents like light
Light
and
and
darkness.
darkness, yeah,
So
yin
they
yang.
wanted to put that for no reason. I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
so yeah. So now we kind of saw. So yeah, you kind of understand where I'm going with this. How
kind-
does it relate to modern day society, and
Kind
how
of
does every human like how do
react
us
to
human
these
react to these
monoliths.
types of things? Yeah, and I want to bring it even further than that after.
Okay, even how we react in general to things that happen.
Yes.
Besides monoliths. Okay.
Good. I think you're starting to catch on to where I'm going with this.
Down for this. Let's go. Let's dig deeper.
So yeah, so like we talked about what they represent on a historical standpoint. even like in science fiction and like cinema and movies and all that. Obviously the people that made the movie, like they did their research. Clearly that scene was so well constructed that they had to have had some type of preconception of what these monuments were and what they represented.
For sure. Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, I think from a historical standpoint, I think understanding that is going to help us understand how it affects us on a modern day level. Yeah. So the next thing I thought you were going to say something.
Yeah, no, I think you set it up pretty well. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, I spent a lot of time on this
I
topic.
see that you did your research.
So, so how does it come into play on a modern day level? So like you said that the way we reacted towards the monoliths, that we saw them all right away, it was like everyone gathered around online and like everyone like started asking questions and like saying, oh, it was aliens and stuff. And so like humans overreact about everything almost, right?
For real. Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
So I think that's just in our nature. We're afraid of the unknown, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like a mystery.
Right.
We love mystery movies, mystery anything. Oh, ghosts, aliens. Why are conspiracy theories? If we talk about that.
Yeah. So, but do you think in modern society we have monoliths that are not represented through an object?
Oh, okay. So we're going further.
Yeah, we're
in
going
that
further.
sense. Monolith. Okay, things that are kind of like monoliths, but aren't like physically monoliths.
That we kind of gather around, that we kind of accept it for what it is right away.
Like, would you consider religions?
Yeah, religion's
sort
a
of
good one,
monoliths?
but I think an even easier one is technology. A new technology is released. We don't know where it's from. Everyone just says
gathers around.
This is a new technology. Let's make it part of our lives. That's the easiest one.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
Yeah,
okay.
so I want to think on more like like a philosophical level. What these things are in our modern society. So yeah, just think about like even government, right? Whatever they say goes. Like we say, right? You guys said that this is the system of beliefs we're gonna adopt whatever you guys say.
That is very true. I agree.
So government technology is a good one. I mean, just recently, right? Like obviously this year there was some unprecedented events that happened, like year 2020.
Oh yeah, with COVID and masks and all that.
And think about the company Zoom. Did you know what Zoom was?
Oh yeah, no, they just came out of like nowhere, and now it's become the norm.
It's part of our lives.
Yeah, it's just whatever.
We just gather around and we accept whatever it is.
And there was some recent news how Zoom was not really safe with their data and all that they were getting breached. And,
I didn't even know that.
Oh, you didn't know? Yeah. That it wasn't like completely safe the way they stored the data, and so. Yeah, but people just accepted it and. Oh,
yeah, exactly. Like almost like it was a savior to all our problems. Yay, everything is going to be online now. Let's do Zoom.
Skype people.
Yeah, what happened to other technologies? Yeah, so you see what I mean? So you just proved it. Like the technology is maybe not perfectly safe. There was a data breach somewhere. And yet we just use it now.
We just accept
the person that created this technology is filthy rich, and he took advantage of a terrible situation. That's the worst part.
Well, yeah, I guess they marketed themselves really hard to people to use their service.
Yeah, I mean, also like even technologies like virtual reality, like we're adopting all these new like trends and we're just accepting them for what they are. You know?
So basically, if we're making the relation to that scene in the movie, it's how like this thing appears, whatever it is, let's say in our society, and people gather around or they look at it, they're curious, but then they just start to preach it or to kind of
exactly the point I want to bring.
Okay, even though that thing hasn't proven itself worthy of our preaching.
Attention.
Yeah, exactly. Because even in the movie, it's just standing inanimate, and they're like, "Oh!"
And the worst part is,
my God,
like it's even more powerful, that scene, because they're all asleep. All of them are asleep, and then they wake up, and it's like right away they just gather around it. They have no idea why.
I mean, I can get their like like curiosity or like anger or what is this or where did they come from, but then all of a sudden to like preach it,
exactly.
That's what's
but it kind of resembles us as humans.
Yeah, in some ways, in our society. I can see the link.
Yeah. So I think you're starting to see where I'm bringing this.
Starting to understand, what you're trying to get at.
So do you think in modern events, would you say that the coronavirus kind of is the modern day monolith?
Kind of is the. Yeah, I would say so. In some, well,
Like
it
figure, like a figure of speech, like a metaphor for it, kind of.
it
thing.
has become, yeah, it has occupied so much of our societal attention that our focus is on only that. Like, I understand, the severity of it and how, it can impact us, and we shouldn't just say, oh, whatever. Whoops,
Don't lose your hat there.
my hat was gonna fall. Fuck.
The aliens are gonna come
Yeah, I
now,
don't-
so stop.
Gotta intercept their signals. But yeah, so in some way, it has become our main focus, and we're just like every day like drowning in that
Right.
COVID news.
But
and-
think about it. It's even more simple than that, I think. COVID started out of nowhere. Okay. We have no idea where it's from.
Yeah.
It's so similar to the scene. This is why I kind of tried to make the connection. It's so
Okay.
similar to that scene. One day we woke up, they said there's a new coronavirus. We don't know where it's from. There was a case in China. First of all, now they're not even sure it was from China. So it's even more uncertain.
Really?
Yeah. I was hearing that there were cases in Italy even before China. Like,
Yeah.
see how they have no idea where it's from. We have no idea. It came out of nowhere. We woke up one morning. It started spreading everywhere. And then literally every single human on this planet submitted to a virus. Every single one.
Yeah. Well, but are you saying that, like, is that like our fault, or that the virus just happened and people spread it unwillingly?
No,
Or you're saying, like, we put so much focus on it that it spread because of that? Like,
no,
what
I'm
you're
not.
trying to
I'm
get
not.
at?
I'm not even talking about the spread. I'm talking about our attention. Like,
Okay.
we adopted all our ways of living towards
Around.
stopping the spread of the virus,
Yeah.
and not thinking about the other consequences that might have, other than the fact, like, everyone.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, like how everything that we do
Revolves around that
revolves around COVID. Yeah,
Exactly.
that it's just, yeah, it's weird and it's surreal, and
It's surreal, and it's like the Black Monument in 2001: Space
it's
Odyssey.
a black monument. Not
Yeah. No, obviously, like, yeah. So obviously, these monoliths are before in historical, like, times, or ancient times. Let's say they were like a physical representation of something, but now we don't really use those anymore. But do we still live in a monolithic society? That's the whole question I wanted to bring up. I think so.
I think so too.
I think we still do.
I mean, whether we like it or not, we are social animals, kind of like those apes. And
Right.
something happens, everyone gets their attention on it, and whether we like it or not, we start to preach it, and we start become hypnotized by it, and forget about everything else around us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I'm glad that you agree with me that there is. I'm pretty sure there's a link. I don't know. Like, this is just my theory, but
I mean,
don't-
yeah, we're kind of examining this
Yeah.
in our way, and
yeah,
it's a bit philosophical.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So don't take anything we're saying with like certainties. We're just
We're just having fun
rambling
chatting and
chatting about what these things can
making
represent.
correlations.
Yeah. So now that we established that there is still a parcel of our society that's like monolithic, that believes in like a single belief system, government, technology, now the coronavirus, all this stuff, can we are there things we could do as, like a society, to detach from this, almost like this psychological, like, slavery or like oppression?
Okay, to like not be so attached to these things and like have our minds kind of only stuck on these things. I mean, yeah, it takes effort on the individual level,
Exactly.
because if we just follow the flow, if we follow what everybody does, what everybody's focused on, then we're just gonna go with the river and forget about ourselves and be like, okay, wait a minute, let me step back. These people are preaching this monolith, so to speak. What is this thing? Where did it come from? How does this impact my life? So I guess maybe, I don't know if that's what you were getting at, is to kind of promote critical thinking in
That's
general.
exactly what I'm bringing up.
That's exactly what you
this
want.
is exactly what I wanted you to
Because
realize.
we're so much stuck in this herd mentality
Yeah.
in our society that we can't ever like think, why am I following this or why am I
Exactly.
doing this?
Critical thinking is the most important thing. And that's why, just like this podcast about, what we're saying is not verified. And I agree. But just the fact that we're thinking about these issues like on a very like deep level, and we're making our own links. I don't care if like the government thinks that what I'm saying is smart. It doesn't matter, right?
We're gonna get busted by the FBI now.
Yeah, starting the Winged podcast started some conspiracies. No, like honestly,
we're getting
no.
surveilled. Fuck.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
but I think it's important not to be complacent and have your own ideas of what you believe in. And critical thinking is important. I feel like believe what you want to believe, and don't be afraid of the unknown. Like we mentioned, like we gathered around this virus and we were just afraid, I think. And of course it's important to be safe. You want to protect everyone, and you don't want to hurt like your family members, this and that. I totally agree with that too. But I think some people it really affected their lives on a very like emotional level, not being able to see people. I feel like we could have maybe gone differently about this.
I think because you've experienced some stuff personally as well.
Yeah, in my entourage, I would say some people haven't taken this all too easily.
Yeah.
So
Taking it too much at heart and kind of let that control their own lives. Precaution and being careful is one thing, but letting it sort of mind control you, it's almost to that point. It's like hypnotized, I'm being controlled by this. No,
Right,
think it out yourself, be a bit more critical of it, and I think we can be better off.
Right. Yeah, so you kind of covered some of the points I want to bring up, but also another way maybe to detach ourselves from this kind of like psychological like oppression kind of thing. Like being careful with technologies we support. That's another one, especially in modern day society. It's like super important. Obviously you want to be up to date with like the new technologies, and like if you have to work with them and whatever.
Yeah.
But it's so important. Like you don't have to always like abide to the new thing all the time. You could stick to your roots if you want to. You don't have to always update, the hard drive.
Yeah, exactly. Or update our brains in general.
Right.
Yes, in our modern times, like things move so quickly as well, and that is even more of a reason to be like, okay, wait a minute, we're going through this sort of virtual reality type of world where everything's going to be virtual. It's like, okay, but what is the use of it? How does it impact my life? Does it take away from our sort of human nature? I know it sounds cliche, but yes,
it's true,
we are human at the end of the day. Technology shouldn't hinder us. It should add value to our life. How does this thing that I'm using, whatever device, gadget, does it add value? If not, then what's the point?
Right. I mean, here, like setting up a podcast, you're using a piano. I'm sure you have a deep connection with your piano. It's an instrument. Like,
yeah, of course, you
play music. You connect with it on a personal level. Like this podcast means something to us.
It's useful what we have here. Yeah,
exactly. Using technology to your advantage and not making it control your lives, I think, is the most important thing.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, and also I think another one is like the media. You have to be careful.
Mainstream media.
Yeah,
fake news.
I'm sure like probably 95% of what's presented on the media is true. Like it probably is to a certain degree. But I think the media presents it in a really bad way. That's my opinion.
Yeah, it's the lens that the media uses, or the focus they always have. It's always on the negative. Or if it's not as bad, they make it out to be so bad and horrific. And
right. Yeah, even though it's not, like you might be sitting on your couch and you see the story and you're like, wow, this doesn't seem like the end of the world. But the way they present it sounds like
it is
the end of the world.
Because like if you watch TV news, it feels like every day it's like, are you ready for tomorrow type of thing? Like, are you ready for what's going to happen tomorrow? No, tomorrow the sun's going to rise again. It's going to set again. It's
yeah, exactly.
So
again, you're making the sun and stuff.
Yeah,
it all ties in. Huh?
So symbolic, it's subconscious.
Yeah.
Can't deny that fact. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think these are pretty good ways on how to free ourselves from, these type of oppressions, and yeah.
It's just to personally, be able to think. Critical thinking, we miss that so much in our current times.
Yeah, there should be a class in high school or something.
You think? Yeah. Why do you think school doesn't teach that? Because they want us to be obedient.
Exactly.
Citizens.
But it's true,
That's
though.
going to be another topic, but yeah.
The more you empower and the more knowledge you have, the more it's going to be hard to control people.
The more you learn, the more you earn. No, I'm kidding. It's just a joke. It's
You're
like
right.
That's a meme, but yeah. Knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? It's a little tangent, but
No, I don't
no.
know.
Do you remember?
Maybe
like,
we could show the meme after.
Okay, but I don't know if you remember. This is a bit of a tangent, but on YouTube there was this guy like around 2015, 2016. He had like these ads. Every video you clicked, he had this ad on. It's that guy where he has his phone in his garage in front of like a library, and he's like, "Hey guys, here in my garage, got myself this new library with books." I got myself a new Lamborghini. It's fun to drive it up the Hollywood Hills. But then he's like, you know what I like more than materialistic things? Knowledge.
You're giving this guy clout here.
I didn't say his name, but
Okay, yeah.
no, I don't
Nah,
care. I mean,
I don't-
he's kind of irrelevant
Yeah.
now, to be honest. But
Yeah.
yeah,
We moved
But-
on to the next new thing, right?
yeah, exactly. All right.
So-
But knowledge, of course, can be powerful. Definitely.
So yeah, inform yourselves and don't believe every conspiracy theory. Like, we're not advocating any conspiracy theory, not even in the least. We're just talking about this
But-
monolith thing.
But conspiracy theories, they are in a way more on the fringe type of monoliths, if we
Yeah,
can
yes.
say it that way. They
Yeah.
are monoliths, but not like accepted by the whole
Yeah.
public. More like
Yeah, I could see what you mean. Like, as soon as there's a new conspiracy theory, like everyone jumps on board and like they accept
and there's
it,
a lot
like-
of people that gather around it and
Yeah, you're
preach
right.
it.
Actually, yeah. So
you think about it
if
that
you
way.
gather around a conspiracy theory, you're not doing the right thing
you're
because
feeding into it.
you're
and-
feeding into other types of figurative monoliths. You would say.
True. Yeah,
That's true. I didn't even think of that. So good that you pointed that out.
it's another way of being like mind control with that theory that you believe it so much and so wholeheartedly that it is true. But
Yeah.
you're not, because a lot of conspiracy theorists think that they're doing critical thinking. They might, but then they themselves get entrenched in those ideas and so-called theories.
Yeah, exactly.
And
So they
they're
fall
not
in the trap.
Yeah, they fall in the same trap as the people who believe in the government or system and say, I trust the government. Well, okay, but you, conspiracy theorists, you trust your theories
Right,
to no
exactly.
end. Yeah.
I agree with that 100%.
So-
So yeah, I think we elaborated a little bit on how we could improve on that.
Mhm.
So kind of like the final thing I want to bring, what
Okay.
we still have to answer. What the recent monoliths? What did they represent? What
Okay,
what
so
do you think
now
it
we're
was?
coming full circle.
Okay, now you can speak about aliens if you want.
no, we can speak about. What? Okay, so what do these monoliths now in our current times represent? Interesting question. I mean, I know that it's like random people around the world or artists, whatever, that put these things up, or are they maybe trying in a way to kind of make people realize how our attention goes to these things when they just
Yes.
appear out of nowhere? They're trying to maybe expose, like how you're doing right now,
Yeah,
the human.
that's exactly what I think the
mentality.
intentions of those monoliths were.
you think, yeah.
I literally believe that. I think it was a message from us to us, someone like a human being,
Yeah.
probably. I mean, it could be it's an alien. I'm not. Probably
no,
not.
it's not.
Probably
It's
not.
Probably
I mean,
not.
the universe is big. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I do believe in aliens, but that's my own thing.
Yeah, but that's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's like probably there is another type of life form somewhere. Like I'm not denying that. There probably is, but it probably wasn't aliens
no,
that put that
exactly.
there. I agree, but I think it was probably a smart guy
Yeah.
that said, you know what, I'm gonna play with everyone here. He placed a monolith. It's so innocent, and then we still like
And we go
exhibited
nuts.
the same behavior as always. We freak out about anything that appears anywhere. Like,
Yeah.
came out of nowhere. All right, let's freak out about it on
let's
social media.
let's try to theorize, where did it come from? Could it be aliens? Let's study. Is there a cryptogram? Is there a decipher this? And
Exactly.
you know.
But also, yeah, so it probably is like an insult to ourselves, but also, who knows, maybe he was even like, but maybe this is just my interpretation, maybe it was a message about how we're handling the COVID situation too. Is it a coincidence? Remember how everyone was saying 2020 is the worst year? I could bet that there's going to be an alien invasion at the end of the year.
Yeah, people
and
were
this
saying that.
person plays these to screw at everyone at the end of the year.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
that's actually kind of.
what happened?
I mean, it's a bit of a quinky dink,
But is it a coincidence?
But that's the thing. Is it a
Is it?
coincidence? Why did these monoliths appear near the end of the year of 2020?
Exactly.
To cause another stir, so people freak out and are like, okay, are we gonna get invaded by aliens now? That's how we predicted it. But yeah, I mean, yeah, whoever did these,
He's
in
a
way,
genius, I'm sorry.
They're smart. I mean, I was getting annoyed. I was like, what's so special about these monoliths? Obviously, someone's just playing games and jokes and trying to,
Right, exactly. But that's a
but that's what
logical
they're trying to
explanation.
do.
It is what's happening. But also, I think he's really smart because this person is really smart, he or she, or
or they.
yeah, that was from our last
This is a
podcast.
little hint, yeah.
Yes, it could be that they placed that there as a message to humanity, like, we need to stop overreacting about everything and taking a step back and realizing, hey, this was a joke, like you did. This was a joke. Someone placed these here just to laugh. But
That's it. Just move on.
it relays a really good message, though. Like, as I was thinking about this, I was starting to see, like, why did these appear at this time of the year? And then I thought back. I remember, I think it was Joe Rogan. I remember seeing on his Instagram page, he said, I'm pretty sure by the end of the year, it's going to be alien invasion. Like, you know how famous he is. Who knows? Maybe you heard that there. The person was like...
I've seen memes of, like, Godzilla coming out or something.
Yeah, so he probably placed this. This was, like, in November, which is basically the end of the year.
Yeah.
And probably just mess with everybody. And it's so smart. I don't know. Like,
I think you might be onto something that it could be related.
I think it
to
is
that.
related. I think this guy is pretty smart and he's actually trying to say something.
I mean,
if I
that's
caught
pretty
on to
smart.
this, I mean, look, maybe I could be like completely insane.
like it could be random as well.
Yes.
But with what's going on throughout this year, is it
Really a
like the
coincidence?
timing, especially?
The timing is really that's the thing that I found the
Very
funniest.
interesting.
Is that everyone was like laughing about it. Oh, there's going to be an alien invasion at the end of the year, and next thing you know, there was people that plays these at the end of the year just to play with
hint
everybody.
that maybe aliens might invade.
Yeah. So
It's very interesting. It's just crazy, but yeah, it does kind of expose how we just go nuts over these things, and also the media, because the media sometimes, when they don't have anything, they're trying to scrape down the barrel to find something to make an article about.
Right.
But these monoliths come, which are they really newsworthy? Not that
Not
much.
really,
You could
it's a piece of metal.
Hey, it's
I
weird.
could have taken a piece of metal, planted it in my backyard, and be like, "This is a monolith."
Yeah. Is every news outlet going to cover that now?
Yeah, am I going to be on the news tomorrow just because I planted a monolith?
Exactly, because they thought, okay, maybe let's make an article about this, make it like a mystery, put a tagline, a headline saying, could it be aliens? And now people are gonna,
And everyone believes it. It's funny.
or buys into the story.
Yeah, or buys into it.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I'm glad that you kind of like agreed with what I was thinking.
No,
about.
definitely. I think you are onto something, and that it could potentially
Mean
be
something.
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not saying that it is. We're just,
Theorizing, but
we're being conspiracy theorists.
we're being conspiracy
Yeah, we're
theorists.
kind of being conspiracy.
We kind of are.
We kind of are, to be honest. But it's not a harmful, or
It's not really a harmful conspiracy.
we don't
I feel like,
believe in it.
no, we don't. I
hard.
just think, there's a message behind those things. It doesn't happen for nothing.
Yeah, I don't think it's just a joke. Yeah, I think
there was probably
deeper
intent. Yeah. Because I think another thing that gives me that impression is that he made them look so much like the ones that we saw in the movie. Like that it can't be a coincidence.
meaning. It can, yeah. It's related to something.
He had, maybe it wasn't exactly this, but maybe he was going for something like this. We don't know.
Okay. Yeah,
that was my interpretation.
We
So,
can't really know the true
won't know.
intention of whoever put that in there. I mean, it could potentially be just a joke or whatever, but it's just as you said, the timing, what's going on in our current society right now, 2020, the craziness, and them trying to stir up
all the propaganda and stuff, like crazy stuff that's going around, and
exactly, even more conspiracy
the killer
theories.
hornets. Remember that?
Oh my god, yeah, that was like a whole craziness during summer.
Who comes up with this stuff? I mean,
I don't know.
they were saying that killer hornets were going to invade the U.S. or something.
Yeah, and people were gonna die.
Buzzing. Get it?
People buzzing. That's your pun of the podcast.
That was my
pun. But then, where are they? What happened to those killer hornets?
Yeah,
They just disappeared.
People
overreacting. Like,
anyways, everyone's overreacting, and we all need to take a step back and
take a chill pill, people.
Take a breather.
Everything's gonna be fine. Yes, it's a rough patch we're going through this year, but things happen. It's kind of like if you look at the financial thing with like the recessions and whatnot, if you look at it from the beginning, it always keeps going up, even though there's downs. But we still progress. You know, as a society, we just need to be a bit more
resilient,
critical thinkers, and
think about all these issues.
So
I think that wraps it up for today.
I think that's a good message. To impart. Yeah.
Good.
So
all right. So you're gonna play us off, or
gonna play off again? Oh,
don't lose your hat. You have to keep it until the end.
I need to keep it until the end, so the aliens are coming through my camera.
Yeah.
All right, people.
All right.
So, thanks for listening. Catch you guys next time.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.